Hey there, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But all I've been able to do this week. I'm in a really strange space right now. Processing a lot of information. I have a new treatment protocol that I'll share with you shortly. But it's just, I don't know, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer 4 years ago. And yeah, naturally, I'm so grateful to be here. And it's been a roller coaster over 4 years. There's been so many scary spots, so many close to death instances. That first year where we didn't really talk because I couldn't, because I was so sick. So sick. I didn't have the choice to go for a walk. I didn't have the choice to deal with my mental state. I didn't have the choice to deal with my nutrition. I was so sick. I had a tumor in my colon, and my liver was full of cancer, a little bit in my lungs, and the treatment that was needed to stop it, for me to be here, was like successive surgery after surgery after surgery, and this chemo that is the chemo for my disease. The thing with that chemo, though, is for my particular disease, for my mutation, they start you off on that chemo, and it's rough. Whew, it is rough. It is the nuclear arsenal of chemo protocols. I was on FOLFOX Fury with Avastin. It's everything they have for my disease all at once. It worked, but it made me so sick. And we went through hell that first year. And what's weird is ever since then, as you know, we've been playing this delicate balance of trying to stay alive and yet enjoying the moment, because if you can't find a little joy in the day, is it worth it? And I don't know if it is. Thankfully, I haven't been there. Thankfully, very close times that I came to giving up or accepting that I needed to give up, I was able to find something to keep me going, right? I just had coffee with a friend this week. She's a beautiful woman. She's an amazing designer of cakes. She was I thought when I first started off in my career, she was one of my superheroes. I just loved what she was doing. Anyways, we became friends because of cancer, and I was chatting with her, and she's been doing this for 7 years. And unfortunately, she's never gotten to the point like I am today. I showed up for our coffee chat on my bike, and that's after having lung radiation last week, and that's after over 80 rounds of chemo and 10 plus surgeries. She's never had that choice to have her body back in those 7 years. Do things. She can do things. But, not go for bike rides with her family, not go for walks with her family, her kids. She's a very limited life. But she's here. She gets to be here for her kids. That's what we fight for, right? Her daughter was 5 when she was diagnosed, and her daughter just got her period last week. But seeing my friend in the mental state that she's in, and I can relate. just weird to me right now because we have a lot to catch up on medically, and I'll explain that all very soon to you, but I've agreed to a new protocol, a new treatment, because there's nothing else. I've only agreed because there's nothing else. I've gone around the world scouring for any trials that I could be applicable for or anything else, and there's nothing else that makes sense. And it's a really, really intense, scary protocol. And why I say I'm just in such a weird space is because my body does allow me the choice today to learn how to skateboard. As you saw me last week, I decided I wanted to learn how to ride an electric skateboard. My wife and I have been playing with it all week, going for bike rides, going for walks. Last weekend, I had brain radiation on Friday. And then over the weekend, it was such a lovely weekend. I had to be babysat because you have to be monitored for 72 hours afterwards, so that in case you have seizures and stuff. And I wanted my wife to have a normal weekend, you know, be able to go to the gym, be able to get her hair cut, things like that. And so my friends all, you know, volunteered. And I you know, went to a friend's house and she was cooking waffles, and we were hanging out with the kids doing fun art things for breakfast. And then I went to another friend's house and had a lovely afternoon chat. And then I had another amazing friend that came by and bombed my garden with butterflies. It's so beautiful. I'll take a picture for you. Another friend popped over and we got to chat, and she brought my wife and I Filipino food. That was actually the night before the radiation because she knew that we wouldn't want to cook. But all of these, like, very normal things. Very normal things. And yet, I'm in such a scary place with the cancer that we are taking drastic measures. It's just weird. What are the drastic measures, you ask? Okay, well, I am so overwhelmed right now emotionally that my wife and I are both kind of like constellations moving, checking in with each other once in a while, giving each other like crying hugs and then jokes, and then doing, you know, our own. We're both trying to figure out how to move into this next phase because it's intense. especially as you know, right? For 4 years, I have systematically targeted this motherfucker that's inside of my body, trying to get it out. And we went through and we got it out of the colon, we got it out of the liver. And just this last week, before I did the brain radiation, we wrapped up the last of the work on my lungs. This whole year, I've been going in for ablation surgeries and radiation, and at the end of the day, we just finished. Everything in my lungs been treated. So we thought we were gonna go to Jackson Hole and have a great summer, and I was crushing it. And then that little fucker. Anyways. It's been a really, really intense couple of weeks. Because as I'm going through this, I still have treatment. As a matter of fact, today, in 2 hours, I'm gonna head to the hospital for a lung biopsy because I have one spot in my lungs that they haven't treated yet, and they're just gonna biopsy it just in case maybe my cancer has mutated from colon cancer to a different cancer, which would be yay. So see, I don't even have time to think about this new treatment that starts next week. Because I have to mentally be prepared for this lung biopsy today. 20-30% chance of a lung collapse. Right now, I'm 2 out of 3. 2 lung collapses out of 3 lung surgeries. This will be the 4th. I'm going for 2 for 2. So this week, again, super overwhelmed. And so all I've been doing is I've been moving, I've been in nature and surrounding myself with art. Creating art, enjoying art and music and trying to breathe. So what I've agreed to is you know that chemo that I was talking about in the beginning, that first year, that chemo that is it is literally the bomb for your cancer. It's fantastic, and you want this chemo if you know you do, because it works. It actually killed my cancer. But the thing with this chemo is it has a 100% allergic reaction rate. Everybody has an allergic reaction to this chemo. An anaphylactic reaction, as a matter of fact. And you never know when it's going to happen. Some people are really unfortunate and they have the first or the second chemo and they have this allergic reaction. I fortunately made it to 15 before I had the anaphylactic reaction, you know, when all of a sudden they call a code and all the nurses come and they're shooting you up with Benadryl and EpiPens and you're sitting there going, holy fuck, I'm going to die in this moment, right? Yeah. Well, once you have that reaction, they take you off of that chemo and they move you into a second line of chemo. For my particular mutation, there's not a lot out there, but there is this bomb chemo. Once you have the allergic reaction, boom, they move you to the second line chemo. That's what I've been on for 3 years. Yay. It wrecks most people. But for me, man, it has been my rainbow glitter juice. It has worked. And it usually only works for people for 2 years. I've gotten 3. Yes. But here we are. The time has come. It has stopped working. Usually at this point, you move on to the third line chemo. It is not designed to kill it. It is not designed to hold it. As my friend Kathleen and I were talking the other day, she said it basically is designed to give you an extra month or 2. It's when you're done. And hopefully they're just trying to keep you so that you're not in pain. Again, do you see how weird this conversation is? Because my body's not in that state. So it's weird to me that I'm at the point of where, like, I just need to accept this and well, as you know, I like to push the boundaries, and so I have found a team that I trust because I'm working with my oncologist that when I was originally diagnosed, she was my partner. She was my oncologist. I've continued to see her. I mention her once in a while, how I go and I chat with her for the mind. She's at a different facility, but I've always stayed at my facility because I love that I have been there for 4 years, and the support that you get, that everybody in that building from the minute I hit every department, because I've been in every department, everybody knows me, and that's lovely. And it's also lovely to not have to think about like where you're going, where to park, where's the office, how to navigate. Like I can just walk in blind, and it's, you know. And so that's why I've stayed at my facility, plus the science. Now they're out of science, I have to go to this new facility. So it's a double whammy. I'm about to try this new protocol that my oncologist has created. Not a lot of people are doing it. I found one other Northwestern in the city of Chicago that was willing to do it, but my facility doesn't do it. The University of Chicago doesn't do it. No one does it. And that is a desensitization program back to that original chemo, back to a full FOXIRI with the Avastin. There's a drug in there called oxaliplatin, and that's what you have the allergic reaction to. And then it's a shot. Some people make it through, and they figure out the right balance and they don't have the allergic reaction, and they're able to do this chemo for a while. And I'm hoping that I just have so little cancer left in my body that it'll just... Is it worth it? We're about to find out. The protocol is a 5-day protocol. On Mondays, I go in for blood work and they determine if I am physically fit to receive the treatment. And then once they get the blood work back and they see that I am, check. Next day, on Tuesday, I will walk in the door and I will admit myself to the ICU. They have you set up in the ICU in case you have a reaction that they have to intubate you. But the goal is that they will give you Benadryl and then a slow chemo, Benadryl, slow chemo, and they're going to do this. The chemo treatment usually lasts 6 hours, or used to when I go in. Now it's like a 12 to 18 hour protocol, so they can give it to you super slow and hopefully manage that reaction. In preparation, I do have to start taking steroids. I've been really lucky. All of my friends have been on steroids and I haven't. So I don't look forward to that either. But I'll stay in the hospital while they give me the oxaliplatin in the ICU. And once I've successfully received all of the medicine, I'll be discharged at midnight or in the morning, depending on what it is. And on that day, Wednesday morning, I have to go to the oncology department and get the other half of this treatment because they only give you the allergic reaction drug, oxaliplatin, in the ICU. So then on Wednesday, I go in and I get the rest of my treatment, which is a ball of chemo that's attached to you that you bring home for 48 hours. On Friday, I will be disconnected. So there's a lot. My current chemo regimen is 3 days. Physically, it impacts you longer, but you're only like dealing with the chemo attached to you and all the shit that goes with it for 3 days. Now it's 5. That sucks. There's a lot of side effects that come with this. That's why we didn't talk much in the first year, because the treatment itself makes you really sick. Gives you neuropathy, so you can't walk, and just real fucked up digestion in your mind. It's the bomb. And it's funny, I was riding around in the park yesterday, and I just, like I'll say the teenager in me was just riding around going, no, I don't want to do this. No, don't want to do it. And funny enough, I feel like the little girl in me, the one that I've been trying to protect and tell her she's safe all these years, she's the one coming forward and holding my hand right now, and she's the one saying, we've got mad endurance skills. We've got mad grin and bear it skills. I think anyone that has endured physical or sexual violence understands that, right? Especially repetitively over a long term. But the little girl in me is reminding me that we have created so many pathways to be able to successfully get through such a traumatic event that we don't need to just grin and bear it. And that's what I've been focusing on. Well, this week I kind of checked out, to be honest. I've just been like, this week I was just looking at pretty flowers and trying to breathe and get ready for my lung biopsy today. because I don't know if I'm coming home tonight or if I'll have a test tube and I'll be there overnight, and then I'll come home tomorrow and have to mentally get ready to start this treatment protocol next week. This is the thing. This isn't a 1 week thing. This is my new treatment protocol. This is that 5-day thing is what I'm going to do every other week until it doesn't work, or pie in the sky goal. My oncologist has successfully gotten people to an every 3-week schedule, and she has successfully moved people from that ball of chemo that you have attached to you for 48 hours at the end of the cycle to pills. So the pie, like the dream right now, the little carrot that I'm holding in front of myself to move forward, is I could do this treatment for the next couple of weeks to get, next couple of months to get this in control. Box this little fucker in again. And then maybe I can move to an every 3 week. Check myself into the hospital for 124 hours and then start taking some pills. I'm in. I could do that. I'm not really worried about I am very sad thinking I might lose my physical. I'm not as worried about that in this moment because I am strong. And my mentality is I like to move, so I'm sure I will. And we've got our nutrition down. I worked, it's weird. Sometimes I think, life unfolds as it should. I believe that. Life unfolds as it should. We don't necessarily know exactly why, but it does. And it's just kind of weird. In January, I went and saw the doctor in California, and amazing, brilliant scientist. And unfortunately, he doesn't have anything for me right now, but he does agree with this protocol to try it. But the greater influence that he had on me was our discussions about all the genetic testing he did and his suggestions of how to manage your diet to make your body best operate and physically work with the treatment, right? And so, that was in January. And then, so I modified that, which has made me really stronger. And then my current chemo facility, they built a new chemo center. It's big and beautiful and awesome, but we don't, I don't have the same interactions with the staff. It's a much different vibe now. So that so I'm not getting that either, and that's not part of my treatment. And then I just wrapped up my lung radiation, and so this timeline, it just feels like, well, I guess life is unfolding as it should. I guess this is all rolled out to get me to this point, and to make me strong enough mentally and physically to have this option. It's the mental game. Because I keep having waves of PTSD memories, both my wife and I, of that first year. She's scared because, it's the bomb. And one of the side effects is that, when I come home from the hospital having received this treatment, your breathing is super shallow. So shallow that my wife would stay up all night and watch me because she was afraid I'd stop breathing. I don't know if that's going to happen again, but we're scared. As with all things, I'm trying not to be so overwhelmed, so I'm not looking at the big picture. I'm in the mode of break it down, make a plan. Break it down, make a plan. And so I'm breaking down my days into micro experiences. I'm working right now of rethinking my treatment protocol and how I best support myself, what that means, and my chemo bag, the activities that I make for myself, just re-examining everything so that I don't want to just grin and bear it. I want to make it be the best possible for me physically and mentally and emotionally, because this is going to be some shit. But as I said, today I need to focus on, I have a lung biopsy here in a little bit. And I'm making that better because I'm going to see my 2 favorite chemo nurses before and get to say goodbye to them in person. Yeah. It's the mental game. It was so strange when I thought I was believing in, not the tomorrows, but I was believing in the months out. I was actually casually like making plans for the fall and the holidays, and we're right back to not knowing if I'm going to be here at the end of the summer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, on Tuesday of this next week, at 8 a.m. Central Time in America, set your alarm clock, because I would love if you could join me in our Rainbow Glitter Warrior dance. That's the time I will be going into the ICU, and I would love if you could join me, sending all the positive juju in the world to help me get through that day. Once I figure out how things work and all of that, I'll be able to breathe better. It's just you know, the first time is really scary because we have no idea what's going to happen. And that anaphylactic reaction was really fucking scary. For my wife, she said it was the scariest. She was there with me when it happened. She said it was the scariest of everything we've done, because not because what was happening around, because the team totally had it under control immediately. But she said it was because of the look of panic on my face. She had never in the 22 years seen the look of panic. Well, she's probably right, because let me tell you, it was a strange experience to have your throat close and your mind is working, and it's like you're having this out-of-body experience. Everyone I've talked to has that same one. And I'm willingly gonna walk in the door and potentially have the same one on Tuesday. So again, if you could set your alarm clock so you can join me in a Rainbow Glitter Warrior stomp, that would be awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining me this morning. Okay. I probably won't talk to you until the end of next week. Yeah. Got this. Got this. See you, my friend.